Hey guys, thanks again for watching Max's View. Today you're going to get a tour of the Max's Morphs Reptile Facility and get a chance to look at some of the animals that I work with. Alright, so this first room is going to be the new snake room. This is where any new snake comes in, goes into quarantine. It's a whole 2 rooms away from any other animal that I'll have. Right now the only one I have is going to be this African import. Normally I might have a rack in here, but I haven't taken in any animals here recently, just produced the ones I bred. Alright, so over here I have the dubia roach colony that I got started through the website dubiaroaches.com, where you can actually use the code MAXESVIEW to get 10% off your order. But I started out with a handful. Now I have a pretty full colony. Shake this out, get a lot of those bugs. This is just starting from a handful. And of course I feed them the healthiest of greens. And these will go on to feed my chameleon, my bearded dragon, my tarantula, my leopard geckos, my crested geckos, help beef them up. Here's a whole box of greens that I have for them that I just got in today. Alright, so here we have the office. Alright, so this bulb literally just went out 2 seconds ago, but this is Sahara. She's one of my bearded dragons. She was given to me just because the person who had her didn't have that much time for attention for her. And then this bulb's still working. And this here is Ducky. She's in shed a little bit, so she's got a little skin hanging off of her. As much as I want to pull it off, I can't. So she's just up there enjoying the last of the UV. Alright, and then next door to all them, we have my chameleon, whose name is Verde. She's in this really cool enclosure, has a UV light and heat. And then it's hooked up to one of these monsoons, which helps keep everything moist. Of course, I have it on a timer. So here is my veiled chameleon. When you first get her out and get her going, she gets pretty hissy. So when you'll start seeing her change color, just because she's a little upset when you touch her, she doesn't like it so much. So I try not to handle her too much, but you see that drastic change in color, which is crazy cool. But she's such an amazing animal. Even though I don't handle her too often, when I do get her out, she calms down a little bit. And then I'll sit here at my desk, which is always kind of a mess, which I guess goes to speak for a lot of the shop because I always have different projects going on. So of course I have all the gecko feeding dishes, different office supplies, hand sanitizer in every room. I've got these mason jars because I'm looking at doing some wet specimens, some snakes that didn't make it. And then right here, which makes a really good visual, desktop, is going to be my Anax tarantula. Now his name is Yamashina. I believe it's a boy. I haven't actually properly sexed. And it is a Texas native tarantula. Similar to Brian Barczyk's story, I used to be afraid of them, but you can't tell people not to be afraid of snakes if you're afraid of spiders. Look, even got you a cricket. My cat with a mustache, who looks over the snake room. Alright, so this is a lot of people's favorite room just because it has the most animals in it. It has most of my snakes, it has all my crested geckos, it has my leopard geckos, it has incubators, so there's a lot to it. So this is what I'm going to start showing you around on. Alright, so this is actually the first rack I had gotten when I started up this business. And it has everything down to the first ball python I got starting this business. And this here is Eden. She is very gravid, and I'm expecting snakes any day now. And then, of course, you know, you have your normals. She's in shed. And then you have your basic color mutations, like India here, who's a Mojave. You have your basic pattern mutations, like Cherokee here. Yes, I do name all of my snakes. Yeah. The yellow belly, breeding to a yellow belly Enchi. This is late in the season, but since they've been indoors, not sure at what part of the year the follicle growth is going on, so maybe they'll just be late bloomers, and time will tell. And then do have a yellow belly pinstripe, who is going to be bred to something kind of secret that I'm not going to show off. I have a female that just got up to weight who will be breeding this next season. This is a black pewter. Very interesting animal. I love the light to the dark. And another example of that is going to be my GHI Het Albino Pastel. Or I guess GHI Pastel Het Albino. He's a very interesting snake. We'll come back to him. And the last thing in this rack that's really important is gonna be Apollo here. He's the snake that always hisses when you pick him up. He's just kind of shy, but he never bites. He's a real sweet snake. I know. He's one of those snakes that once you pick him up, he's fine, but he's just kind of scared when you first get to him. So I do have some snakes here. Got a bunch of new hatchlings. This is a Mojave to Champagne clutch. So of course I hit my gold there with the Mojave Champagne. They're all approaching their first shed. And then after their first shed, they all get split up into the rest of the hatchling racks. I've got super tiny hog noses. These are 100% Het Albino, and cute as can be. And then I've got a carpet python. This one is a jungle jag. We'll be moving to a higher enclosure here shortly. Like I said, projects always going on. Here is Luke. Luke is one of my albinos. I do have a lot more albinos, which I'm very excited about, including one from John Griffiths here. This is Nimbus, and he is a high contrast albino pinstripe. So you can't really tell the contrast so much because of the pinstripe, but if you look at these animals side by side, you can tell the yellow from him is just so much darker. So the contrast is crazy. Gotta love those red eyes. Next week I'll be getting a Candino female, but for right now I only have a Het Albino. Also have a Het Pied for my Pied boy here, Keith. Nope, not Keith. Keith is here. This is Keith. He is my Pied. He is a gorgeous snake. He's just waking up, so I'll leave him alone. Another one from John Griffiths here is Lieutenant Dan. He is my queen spin, so that's going to be a pastel lesser spider pinstripe. So very awesome animal, going to be paired with a lot of different things. He moved his hide, so I moved his hide. And then of course Daddy is in here, new dad to a banana clutch. That's about a week old. And the banana clutch is going to be over here in my hatchling rack. Here's that one with the paradox spot. Little spot on his head. I guess if paradox isn't the proper term for it, then I'm wrong, but to me it just looks like normal poking through, so So I got a number of bananas, got some normals. Of course I got champagne babies. This one just shed. Oh, shed. Means he's growing. Yeah, look at him. Alright, so we're gonna highlight all these babies real quick. I got a couple different clutches in here. This normal, and this champagne, or what's left of clutch of 6, where I had a couple normals and the champagne. These normals and this banana were all part of a clutch. Of course there's, I'm just gonna call him Spot right now, is a boy. And then these will be ready in a month, so they're not quite ready. Then I got this clutch over here. So even in shed, you can tell the difference between the normal and the Mojave, just how much brighter they are. And then I got this champagne who's active, and then I've got this Mojave champagne who's just absolutely stunning. It's in shed, so you can't really tell. No, you can't tell at all. I've got one blue eye and one black eye, but both eyes just look blue. So one side's Mojave, one side's champagne. Really cool snake. But yeah, so I just got babies galore, and it makes me really happy. And then I got a little diversity in this rack, totally separate from the snakes. I've got leopard geckos. Here's the female, who's supposed to give me eggs any day now. But that's a lot of my animals right now. Of course the male. They have pretty simple enclosures, but his hide has been taken out. And then up this way I have Sprinkles. He was a speckled king snake that was given to me. I like to get him out. He likes to rattle his tail. There he goes. Attaboy. Another carpet I have that's pretty small is going to be a Bredley stripe. This is Randall. I'll leave him be. He just ate. I have most of their names taped on there for when I ask people about my snakes for when I'm out of town. So this is a corn snake that I believe is amelanistic. Gotta look more into it, and of course it's nothing's proven, but he's actually about 6 years old, feeds once a week. So if you have a female corn snake, you know they get bigger. So that's gonna be that rack, that rack. I'm not gonna do that rack. That's empty. We'll do some of this rack. We're not gonna do all of it. I do have some secret stuff going on. But this is Fugazi. He is my albino hognose western. He needs to get his bedding changed. But yeah, he enjoys his rack. He loves his aspen. Another one on aspen that I have is my Kenyan Sand Boa. That's Onyx. He was a rescue about 2 years ago. Now, I'd say about 2.5 years ago now. But loves to burrow. In fact, will even burrow in my beard. Terrible climbers though, so you always gotta kind of watch them. There he goes, burrowing in my beard. Now, these guys are a great snake to have if your parents are afraid of snakes, because your parents don't ever have to really look at them, because they will burrow and you see them only really at night. There he goes. Here's one I did show. This is Ruger. He is my GHI Pastel Albino ball python. He's kind of shy right now, but he's a beauty, and I'm really happy with him. He's a great example of that dark and light, and I'm really hoping I get even more of that when the albino gets thrown in. So he'll be breeding this next season. Granted, he gets up to weight. I have Roxanne. She is my spotted python. She is a bit of a biter, so I'll leave her be. She's in a pretty simple cage right now. I need to amp it up. I was cleaning it all out. She dirtied it up pretty well. And I'm gonna skip this one, that one, and the ones up top. I did show him off already. Gonna skip that rack. Here's my incubator. Always have clutches of eggs in it. Got this one up here as well. It's turned off right now because the room's at a good temperature. But I have 6 sets of Crested Gecko eggs on that container, and then I have a couple more different ones. And so now on to the Crested Geckos. Alright, so in here is Charlie. He has his little UV light that I have on for the daytime. He hangs out in this little cup over here. Let's bring him on out. So this here is Charlie. I'll leave him up on a branch. This is a nice enclosure where he gets nice and spoiled. The reason I have him over here and my female over here, or one of my females, is because I just have a small egg laying area for her. Other than that, she's on paper. When I do something like this, I cut out this, I siliconed it down on the outside, this little screen. So she's down here. She knocked over her thing. I guess she was eating it. So I'm gonna let her be, but she's nice and fired up right now. And then I have a number of babies all in here. This one's really tiny and hidden. So with the babies, I don't do any of the substrate just to avoid risk of impaction, and I'm careful when spraying them down. I don't want to soak the bottom. Just like I said, they are babies. There he is. And then bigger ones in here, Peppercorn is going to show up here in a couple days from Catalia's Critters, and she got her from Altitude Exotics. Here is the big snake room. I've got carpets in here, got my red tail boa. These two jungles are breeding at the moment. And then in here I've got my big girl Gaia, who is a beautiful animal. Alright, so in here we will find one of my carpet pythons, a jungle, chilling there. She has some branches that I built. I actually keep this cage sideways. Just gives her a little more height to work with these branches. I don't do that with all of them. In here, this one does not have branches yet, but I have that. In fact, I have a pretty bare minimum carpet python enclosure over here just to get these two breeding, and it looks like they're thinking about it. So these two are both jungles, and obviously the female is quite a bit larger than the male, which I don't mind. Alright, so this here is Shinji. He is my Salmon Red Tail Boa. He's about 7 foot long, and he's a great masseuse. He just loves chilling on the shoulders, just moving around. I'll pull him out probably the most often. Him and Gaia have made some beautiful babies, and he does love his enclosure, which is a pretty simple setup. I have his water dish here, and then a log to keep him from spilling it over. And then his hut is actually a bucket. It's a sideways bucket. I put some moss in. Of course, I have this REPTILE Chip product, and he's getting a little bit curious, so I'm gonna handle him for a bit and move on to the next snake. Alright, quick thing for you guys to know is that in all of my screen top enclosures, anything with a screen, I have the REPTILE Chip product. I don't think that paper cuts it. In fact, even on this one I have it sealed with the aluminum tape just to keep the humidity in. But as far as humidity goes, yeah, the paper does not cut it. So I do have the substrate because it is so much better for maintaining humidity. So this is my biggest carpet python. It's definitely a very active snake. Carpet pythons, being semi-arboreal, do love to climb, so I get these guys out on the regular. Definitely a big girl, very friendly girl. We'll go ahead and put her back and let them get to work on what they're doing. And then we'll move on to Gaia. So most pictures of the shop are gonna be over here on this part because of this snake here. This is Gaia. Everyone loves to hold her. She's my heaviest snake. She's such a chill boa. She just loves, you know, hanging out. She does like trying to head somewhere new at the moment anyway. So everyone always gets pictures with her. And so this is the most common picture place you'll see of my shop. Either here or the snake room with all the mini snakes. But I mean, Gaia is very photogenic. She's been in photo shoots with me. She loves to crawl on my head. But I mean, she's an absolute stunner. A good workout getting to hold her. Nothing like a retic or a Burmese. Because boas will just kind of lay on you. Retic or Burmese will like squeeze you. So she's definitely a nice snake to have. Definitely safe to handle on your own if, you know, you're an adult and stuff. Now, I don't normally do things like this, but I mean, it was just kind of a golden opportunity to show off some of the pretty snakes I have that are really visual, just easy to see. You know, Queen Spin, GHI Pastel, Albino Pin, I got a banana, of course the pied and the champagne. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys put up and start putting this video together and letting these guys enjoy the rest of their evening. Thanks so much for enjoying my reptile shop tour. There's definitely going to be updates soon just because there's so many different projects I have going on, and I'm excited to include you guys to be a part of it. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later and have a good one.